Hello, doctor. Hello, one and all. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and thank you so much for giving your precious time for today's session. So, today we would be talking more about evidence based exercise prescription, especially during pregnancy. Now, the reason we chose this topic is because when it comes to pregnancy care, exercises are important, and this is something which is known to everyone. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to more deeper understanding about what kind of exercise, at what time the exercise should be done, to what frequency the exercise should be done, having a clarity about this all things makes a huge difference in getting better outcomes. And that's why we chose this topic today to speak about in today's session. So before I begin into this topic, I would like to give a small introduction about myself and what we are going to talk about. So today's topic we would be discussing basically on 2020 American College of Gynecologists and Obstetric guidelines, especially for exercise during pregnancy and postpartum period. We would be also covering 2020 WHO guideline on physical activity and sedentary behavior. And we would be also covering how important it is to incorporate ICF model, how to use this model in designing the exercise program. This is important because we believe when we mix all these three guidelines together, it is very easy for us to come up with an effective solutions. Coming on who we are. So basically, I am physiotherapist Meghna Dave. I'm the founder of an health tech startup named HealthQ, where our mission is to motivate people to look at the brighter side of the health. And joining me today is Physio Shilpa. She is the lead program manager for this program, and she has done her master's in women's health and comes with a unique experience and passion to deliver services to pregnant women. So we have kind of collaborated together to develop this program. Now coming back to what we do at HealthQ. So we are basically into rehab services and media services. When it comes to rehab, we have some condition specific exercise programs designed, which are a mix of offline, online, as well as video based guidance to patients. So we are covering topics like Bell's palsy rehabilitation program, which is ongoing past 1 year. We have spine care program, which is undergoing in a pilot study. We are also getting into pregnancy care program pilot, and we are also in progress of making CP care program. When it comes to media services, we are proud to say that we are now having a YouTube channel which has got 1 lakh plus subscribers, and we are also helping other uh, companies, brands, and healthcare services in creating content for them in order to reach out to their potential audience. Now, coming back to what we are trying to do, so our entire aim through the rehab services is to make sure that services that we provide are effective, efficient, affordable, and accessible. So that was all about us. Now, coming back to today's topic, and that is evidence-based exercise prescription during pregnancy. Now, when it comes to pregnancy, even though there are unique challenges that a woman will experience throughout her journey of starting to the point where she conceives to the point she delivers and postpartum period, this is a journey of well being. But still, during this journey, there are a lot of bumps that come on her way. These bumps can be because of some physiological changes, emotional changes that she goes through, hormonal changes that she goes through, some secondary impairments that women develops, or even sometimes labor-related conditions or a problem can make this entire journey kind of rough for her. So, the aim of any healthcare professional should be to make sure that we kind of are able to make this entire process of pregnancy or this entire journey of pregnancy smoother for her. That's why we believe that evidence based practice is a way for a healthcare professional to stay up to date. Now, we have chosen three evidences or as three recommendations for us to create a program. And why we believe these three evidences are a gold standard evidence to create exercise program is because when it comes to American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, they regularly revise and incorporate all the recent evidences on exercises and physical activity that's related to pregnancy and postpartum period. That's why this one document that they release every year kind of gives a very good guideline for the therapist to design the exercise program. When it comes to WHO is also having a 10-year long action plan, which has been now extended for 18-year-old action plan. And this year only, they have incorporated in special guidelines of physical activity for pregnant women and postpartum women. And this guideline is basically to address this new global target to reduce global level of physical inactivity, which is gradually increasing on a fast pace, which is gradually increasing across the population. And when it comes to International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health, this is a framework which kind of allows the healthcare professional to frame the program in such a way that we not only address to the symptomatic problems that women come up with, but also we are able to cater to all other aspects related to their functions, related to their participation, related to their overall health and wellness. So this allows the healthcare professional to make the entire program or else the entire implementation of the service in a very smooth and effective way. Now, coming to the ACOG guideline, which is, we believe, it's the first document that we should refer when it comes to exercise planning, is the reason, as I said, that they constantly update and they constantly revise their guidelines. And that's why it's one of the most important tools to allow the therapist to design the program. So according to ACOG guidelines, the ideal time to maintain and adopt a healthy lifestyle is pregnancy. This is the time when the women are more open and are more motivated to incorporate all the suggestions, all the advice that they get from their healthcare professionals. They want best from their pregnancy time. And that's why this is the time where it is very easy for a healthcare professional to make them understand how important it is to stay physically active. According to ACOG guideline, it's also important that exercise program should not be one size fit all approach. Exercise program has to be individualized and should be done only after an evaluation of obstetrics and gynecologist. And followed by this, the evaluation is also evaluation should also involve the role of physiotherapist, where the assessment is done at physical level. Physical assessment in terms of musculoskeletal health and well-being, respiratory health, and any other signs and symptoms of some other secondary musculoskeletal or neuromuscular impairment should be incorporated in order to have a clear picture of what exercise has to be included and what all exercise has to be excluded. Exercise in pregnancy is all, even though exercise in pregnancy is associated with minimal risk factors and have a lot of benefits, but there are certain times where these risk factors or as a secondary complication can come into the picture, and that's why this evaluation becomes important. When it comes to exercise selection, it has to be a mix of aerobic exercises and strength conditioning exercises. And these exercises should be encouraged in healthy pregnant women. Now, if we look at the benefits, and there is no doubt there are a lot of benefits of doing these exercises. But some of them to mention is reduction in hypertensive disorders, improved cardiorespiratory fitness, lower gestational weight gain, reduction in the risk of gestational diabetes, reduction in depression, improved emotional well being, and improved physical conditioning. Now, when we combine this and compare this to the WHO activity guideline, according to WHO, the women who is pregnant should be involved in regular physical activity throughout pregnancy and even in postpartum period. Women should be encouraged to replace sedentary time with physical activity of any intensity, but at a safer limits. And the women who are habitually engaged in vigorous intensity aerobic activity pre-pregnancy are also allowed to continue their exercises. But given this, they should be under supervision of a professional. Again, even WHO recommends using aerobic and muscle strengthening activities as the core of exercise program. And adding gentle stretching exercise is also a beneficial tool in order to prevent secondary injuries that women can land up into following doing an exercise program. Hence, when it comes to planning an exercise program, it should incorporate four core principles. The first and the most important one is motivational counseling. This forms the building block or is prepares the women for incorporating a healthy lifestyle in her day to day routine. Motivational counseling should focus on understanding her day to day activities of daily living. It should also incorporate her occupational involvement. It should also incorporate her overall health and well being. And keeping these factors in mind and her personal and emotional aspects in mind, the counseling session should be made. Along with this, the second pillar is the thorough clinical evaluation. Clinical evaluation should be done by a gynecologist as well as physiotherapist. When it comes to exercises, it should be mix of aerobic activity and strength training. And the duration, which is considered to be ideal for women, is minimum of 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity. Now, definitely, these are certain things that should be kept in mind, but there are certain safety considerations which should be at core and should be as a checklist for any therapist when a therapist is giving exercise to their patient. One is evaluation before starting the exercise program. Exercise should never be done with overexertion. Exercises done in warm and humid temperature is not allowed. Women should also be known or is educated about holding breath can cause certain problems, and that's why whenever they are doing exercises, the breathe pattern should be very normal. They should not hold breath or strain themselves while performing exercises. Maintaining adequate nutrition and hydration is also equally important. Women should be encouraged to avoid lying on their back from fourth month of pregnancy. Even avoiding activities that involves danger of fall should be as important as other points. There should be certain safety limits which should be well explained to the patient, and then only they should further move ahead. And even the women should be also knowing or else they should be educated about what are the reasons when they should stop exercise and what are the key signs when they should stop exercising. Now, what are these key signs or when women should not exercise? Definitely certain key factors like when women is showing signs of vaginal bleeding, if there is tremendous abdominal pain, if there are regular painful contractions, if there is amniotic fluid leakage, if there's dyspnea before exertion, if there's dizziness, if there's headache, if there's chest pain, if there is muscle weakness that affects balance, or as if even women complain of calf pain or swelling following an exercise. These are certain signs where women should stop exercising. Hence, this information should always be shared to women before she starts the process or before she enters into the process of exercise. Now, let's what happens when we incorporate ICF model into this? ICF stands for International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health. Now, adding international classification system into the pregnancy care program changes the picture completely. ICF is basically a framework that approaches the patient. It shifts the focus from the all negative connotations such as disability, pain, or symptom based issues and focuses more on the strength that women have. The focus is more on the positive abilities of the women, that too at an individual level. Now, basis this, what happens is it enables the healthcare provider to collaborate with each other and work at achieving an overall women's health and well-being. And when ICF model is used, the patient is at the center of focus rather than symptoms. Women also are able to understand their strengths and challenges with the help of ICF model. It allows better communication among healthcare professionals as well as women, and it will also allow women to make informed decisions. So when ICF model is incorporated, the women would be more motivated, more involved, and will be more focused towards engaging into the exercise program. Because being physiotherapists, we have always observed that engaging a patient for a long period of time in exercise regime could be a challenge. But when we are able to give them valuable reasoning why the exercises or exercise program is important for them, and that is always whenever is implemented or said to them repeatedly, they stay focused in better way. And ICF model allows us to do that. Now, what's included in ICF model is the focus is on women and all the health conditions. So, which in this scenario is definitely pregnancy. But along with that, there are certain factors which are then evaluated, which is first body functions and structures, activity level, what all things are possible at activity level for the women, and what all things she is finding difficult. Even the evaluation incorporates the participation of women in terms of her social well being, in terms of her emotional well being, and in the society overall. The key factors that are also kept into consideration here are the contextual factors like environmental factors and personal factors. When the evaluation and exercise planning is done keeping all these factors in mind, it is very easy to come up with a long term exercise program. These are goal specific, and women are more nicely able to participate in this and are in a good position to show positive results. And that's what we are trying to do with HealthQ, where we are trying to incorporate ACOG guideline with WHO recommendation and ICF model. Basis this, what needs to be done is we need to divide the entire program or the exercise program, and the women has to be categorized in three categories. One is the sedentary women who don't have a typical present symptoms or else any visible conditions. We call them as sedentary women with a good health profile. The second group of women that needs to be categorized into are women who are having neurological and musculoskeletal condition. And even the third categorization here required is high risk pregnancy. Now, I would request Shilpa to take forward from here in explaining how the exercise program varies when it comes to sedentary women, neurological or musculoskeletal women suffering from neurological and musculoskeletal condition, and women with high risk pregnancy.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Meghna. So when it comes to sedentary women, the main focus is going to be on the strengthening aspect for that woman, strengthening of her muscular, strengthening of her muscles, her flexibility. Basically, the exercise program will mostly concentrate on the aerobic and the strengthening. So the second program what we have is the neurological or the musculoskeletal condition. In this, the woman is already having some discomfort, either it is neurological or musculoskeletal. So our primary focus is going to be addressing that particular issue which the woman has. Like for example, if the woman is complaining of low back pain, now we are going to address the low back pain first, and then accordingly we are going to make a individualized exercise program for her and make sure that her discomfort is at the minimal level and she doesn't end up with further complications. Now the third one is the high risk pregnancy. Now even the ACOG guidelines have suggested that bed rest in high risk pregnancy is also not beneficial. They say that it is harmful. The benefits outweigh the risks of the exercise. So here also we are going to mainly focus on exercise which are safe to do even in high risk pregnancy. So that, for example, could be, maybe we could we are as important as strengthening of the pelvic floor muscles or other muscles. So that way the woman can still remain active even when it is a high risk. Meghna?
Yeah. Okay. So what we are trying to do is we make sure that whenever the exercise program is decided, the women's overall health condition is taken into the picture. And mostly, what happens is when it comes to high risk pregnancy, the women are left and said that you are not supposed to exercise. But if we follow the ICF model's rule, what ICF says is we have to focus on the possibilities. We have to focus on the strengths of the women. So even though if women is not able to get out of the bed, but still there are a lot of exercises when it comes to breathing exercises, when it comes to hand strengthening exercises. So that allows the women to maintain her aerobic capacity, which somewhere down the lane reduces and leads to some other secondary complication, maybe in the postpartum period. So postpartum period related complication, which is something that affects her overall health and well-being, can be prevented just with the help of incorporating some basic exercises that focuses on the safety first as our core mantra, but also on working or as individual on the individual muscles that are safe to work on. So that changes the perspective and allows a woman on every group of all the categorization that we have made, and allow the women to be active, stay active. And this also makes her motivated. It makes her feel happy about herself, and it also gives positive influence. So yeah, so that's what we believe into. And the key takeaways that we want to give through this presentation is pregnancy is definitely a very unique situation. It's a situation of well-being, not a disease. But there are some unique challenges that a woman faces during this time. As a healthcare professional, it's our core duty to help this woman go through her process of pregnancy in as smooth way as possible. Our aim should be to focus not only on her symptom, but allowing her to achieve an holistic health and well-being. A successful intervention is only possible when there is collaboration among healthcare professionals, family members, and women themselves. Using recommendation guidelines like ACOS, WHO, ICF allows the professionals to stay up to date in their clinical practice and implement exercise intervention programs in a more effective way. So we would be looking forward to work with you on this. So from here, I would like to end this and would be open to take your questions. Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Meghna, yeah, it was a wonderful presentation.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
if any questions are there, please, the session is open for Q&A.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sangeeta Gums here.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, it's very nice talk what you said.
Thank you, ma'am.
It starts actually right from the first visit itself. The first question they ask, chukna nahi, bucket nahi uthane ka, सीढ़ी nahi चढ़ने का.
Right.
It's the counseling should start from there.
Correct.
That you can do all the work,
Right.
and that 90% of India is in the villages delivering without doctors and nurses, with ayas, dayas, and 99% are normal deliveries.
Right.
So we should encourage them to work, and most of them the IT crowd sitting in front of the laptop for almost 12 to 14 hours.
Right.
So we should encourage them to their minor jobs, like a little bit of cooking, even if they make their own chapatis where they need the dough, whatever possible, small things like ironing, washing. They exercise their biceps, triceps, and if they climb the stairs, they'll quadriceps, they'll be strengthening. So these small things we should start right from the beginning during the first visit itself. Of course, we have to segregate the crowd who is high risk, like if they have a low-lying placenta, previous bad obstetric history, and some surgeries on her uterus. It's a precious IVF pregnancy. then it's understood that okay, we tell her to be on complete bed rest. But the rest of the crowd who fall in the low risk category, the counseling should start right from the first month, and then later on you encourage them to sit on the floor and eat, do butterfly exercises, so strengthening the pelvic muscles. I usually say you lie down, put a mattress on the floor and sleep. The process of getting up, sleeping on the floor will exercise your pelvic muscles. You get up with the four hands and legs like a dog or a cat, and that will be strengthening your spine also.
Right.
So this is important. Plus, women, if we offer them exercises also, they do not want to come because they don't want to spend time. Almost whole week they are in the IT job, and weekends they are into something else. So they don't want to think about health. So we need to work it out. Maybe start special programs in the hospital also, encouraging them, holding a special unit where we concentrate on exercise and the other things, whatever you said, strength building and all that. It's really good talk.
Yeah. So, ma'am, actually, I'll just like to add up something here. So, the HealthQ, a pregnancy care program that we have created, we have kept all these aspects in mind. So, that's why what we do is we try to mix offline, online, as well as video-based support to women. So, when a woman enters into the program, which is in the second trimester of pregnancy, the first thing that she goes through is a counseling session with a therapist, which is always done followed by a approval and a proper examination done from a gynecologist. Once the gynecologist approves and tells us that okay, she is something who falls into the category of sedentary healthy women, or if she is something who falls into the high risk category, we keep that note at the first place. Once that is done, we divide the exercise session, which focuses first at the structural level. So when it comes to structural level, it's more about muscle strengthening, maintaining flexibility of the muscles, maintaining the muscle movements. That is the one set that we add it into. The second set is about her functional level. So where it is more about posture correction and ergonomical advice. So as you said, ma'am, like you tell her that you should sit on floor and eat. You should cook her own food and stay physically active. So that is also something which is being recommended by ACO, American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, that the sedentary activities should be replaced by some sort of physical activity. It doesn't have to be just an workout for morning 20 minutes or evening 20 minutes, but more than that, whenever she finds that opportunity to move, she should be encouraged to move. And these movements has to be in her limits. What are the limits that needs to be identified first, and then only it has to be moved. And the third aspect that we also keep into the mind is that the participation level. Now, definitely women have their own hobbies that they want to continue. Women love driving, women want to go to their classes. So we try to create an awareness in women to what extent doing these activities normal. What are the safety limits for her? Once that limits are identified and set to her, and then there is a constant touch with her on a regular basis, because these sessions that we have are on monthly level one-on-one sessions. So she is always in touch with her therapist, who not only stay as her doctor, but she stays as a friend, as a guide for her, which tells her constantly that these are the activities that you should do, these are the activities you should avoid. And so there's a constant push of motivation, but at the same time, the safety is always at the check. So that's how we are trying to address this issue. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Shilpa wants to say something.
Yeah. Shilpa, you want to add up something here?
I think you have summarized it very well.
Yes.
Actually, these muscle strengthening exercises really helps them for normal labor. When they labor, they cannot lift the leg also to push the baby. They don't have any strength. They say, nahi hoga, humse nahi hoga. Unless you don't strengthen your quadriceps muscle and all, how will you push the baby?
That's true.
So, yeah, I hope we'll be able to do all these things. Maybe consultants are so busy with so many things that this doesn't come into our mind, but we make a point at least to say something or the other. Some like it, some don't like, saying हमारे घर में सब काम वाले हैं, सब करने के लिए है दिल से. It's like that. Dr. Tina, hi.
Hello, madam.
Hello, ma'am.
बोलो, आप भी कुछ बोलो.
Very nice presentation, Miss Meghna.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I would like to add on one thing here is
Sure.
when these girls or women come for pre-pregnancy counseling only, we
Mhm.
should add exercises there.
Mhm.
Tell my patients that from now when you are trying pregnancy, I want 1 hour of exercise, because as soon as you get pregnant, I am going to add exercise. And then your parents and in-laws will come and beat me up. So better
We
so
should
better
pay
start
them. We should pay them for that 1 hour exercise.
better start now so we can
कौन सा
continue it.
डॉक्टर है उसको अकल है क्या नहीं कोई कराते क्या एक्सरसाइज they'll come as Tina said they'll come and beat us very difficult but yes we need to really hit the nail on their head.
And
Right.
even
Need to learn.
doctors need to be aware that what you said. I mean, all these things, most of the doctors also are not aware, because they only ask bed rest, bed rest, bed rest.
Exactly. Most
So-
of the gynecologists they give ulta advice saying बेड पे लेटे रहो बेड पे खाओ उठना नहीं टॉयलेट को नहीं जाना वहां पे मत करो ये मत करो and you know I was like wondering why this gynecologist is saying all these things when she's a healthy young adult in normal pregnancy and then these people think I am mad for saying all that ki bhai you go and do all the exercise then next
That's
minute they
true.
disappear from us and they go to another doctor who also says so jao bhai because she wants that advice from the
Right.
gynecologist so we are also scared to give too much advice on this part.
That's
Okay.
true, ma'am.
Dr. Sunil? हाँ, busy है.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, what Meghna and team they are planning is they have designed a exercise program for
Uh-huh.
pregnant women, which can be done from the comfort of their home. I mean, patient need not come out of their home with their convenience. It will be a guided exercises. So based on the protocol, which they'll be discussing with you, and whatever the obstetrician says, based on their recommendation only, they are going to design the program. So this is what is there in the pipeline.
Good.
Yeah.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, what we are trying to do is we are trying to start off with a pilot project where we would be trying to collaborate with you guys. And we want that collaboration where women enters with us or joins our program at the second trimester of pregnancy. And as I said, like first is the evaluation. So the exercise programs would be online sessions, which would be conducted by Dr. Shilpa. So these would be weekly 45 minutes exercise sessions, which would be group sessions. So we solve the problem of traveling and having no time and all those stuff. And since COVID is also there, it's not safe to travel. So we are trying to solve this through this. And along with that, we will also incorporate couples counseling, lactation advice, and ergonomical advice. So this program would be stretched starting from the second trimester of pregnancy to till delivery, like that. Yeah. So Shilpa, can you just explain a bit more about how this session could be divided into and what all things would be incorporated?
So first, we'll have a one-on-one session wherein I will meet with the patient, or I shouldn't be calling them patients. So she is a healthy pregnant woman. So I'll be meeting with her in a one-on-one online session wherein I will talk to her, motivate her, and do a evaluation on what are her goals and what all she's expecting out of this seed, giving her Google Forms so that we have a good clinical picture of how she's doing uh, with the pregnancy and how is her health related to that. So after this session, I categorize her into one of her programs. Either it is a sedentary woman, or it is one with a neuromuscular or a musculoskeletal problem, or she falls into the high risk pregnancy category. Once we have done that, so what we will do is we'll conduct 3 classes per week. Each will have 45 minutes is one exercise session. Now, ACOG and WHO guidelines say that the exercise should be 3 to 5 days per week, which is the minimum. So we'll start basically with 3 sessions per week, and we'll see how the lady is doing and her progression, and accordingly we'll modify it in the later stages. Now, in each exercise session, we are going to include a warm-up session, which is going to be of 5-10 minutes, another exercise session, which is either aerobics or strengthening, or a mix of both, and which will be around some 20 minutes. And after that, we'll have a cool down period, which will again be of 5-10 minutes. So in this way, we are coming up to around 40 to 45 minutes in each session. So now, again, these exercises will be specific to the condition if there is any problem. When it comes to strengthening aspect, now we'll see it stage wise how the woman is doing and how many repetitions have to be given to her and how is her exertion level and all. Depending on that, there will be modifications done in the program. Post that, not just exercises, we have seen that even educating them regarding the labor and the postpartum period is very helpful. So we are going to have a couple session which will be happening in the third trimester, wherein we'll just tell them the basic on how the labor progresses and what all has to be expected during that period. There is no need to panic. When they are well informed, they readily they don't go in the panic mode, and they are much more the labor progress is much more faster is what we have seen. So there will be one couple session regarding that, and there will be one lactation counseling brief session on lactation counseling again, which will be helpful for the new parents in the postpartum.
So when in the second trimester do you want to start the exercise programs?
The ideal recommendation is after 12 weeks.
Okay.
So both ACOG and WHO both have recommended to start exercise program after 12 weeks of gestation.
Until then, follow the same activity as before. Is it?
Yes, if it is a healthy pregnancy.
Okay.
So Shilpa, there's one more question that we have got from Dr. Vanita, which is again asking the same thing, like why no exercise, or why the exercise should not be started in first trimester itself. So can you answer that?
Okay. First, the confirmation of pregnancy itself, 1 month is gone in that. So we hardly have a window of 2 months after that. But whatever evidence we have, they suggest that it has to be started after 12 weeks. Previously, it was after 20 weeks. With the recent guidelines, they have done it for 12 weeks.
Yeah, actually in Sakra we are doing from 20 weeks only. The physiotherapy session starts from 20 weeks. That's why I asked.
Yes. No, the recent guidelines 2020 ACOG, they have suggested to start it from 12 weeks.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Let's
Just wanted a question.
With nausea, vomiting also in the first trimester.
A lot of fatigue also, ma'am, associated with. So
nausea, vomiting, they'll be sleeping so much. So at that time, whether they like or not, they'll not be able to do any exercise. They won't rest. I think after 14 weeks or 15 weeks, if they are in the low risk category, we can start. Otherwise, after 20 weeks is also okay. Once you rule out cervical incompetence, because sometimes at 18 weeks the cervix opens up, so maybe that part also you can take care and see the cervix is long, os closed, and they're not prone for cervical incompetence. Maybe after 20 weeks also you can start advising exercises for people who have lost the pregnancies or it's something. But the one who's in the low risk and has long cervix and a low risk pregnancy, maybe can start at 14, 15 weeks. Once the nausea, vomiting settle down, she starts feeling better, she can think about exercise.
Yeah. Any other question if anybody wants to ask?
So you're going to launch this program, is it shortly? How shortly?
Yes, ma'am. We are planning to start from first week of March itself. Okay. Ma'am, that we engage our sessions in a way, so we are planning to design that these all exercises are progressive, because if we challenge them to a bit, they stay motivated to come back to us, which we have seen over a period of time.
Reminder SMS should go daily to them. Have you done your exercises?
That's true. No, our exercise strategy that we are planning to decide are like more of challenge-based activities. So that helps them to stay motivated and come back again. So we will hope. So definitely, since we are starting out, it is a new learning for us as well. But like Shilpa also comes with a long experience of being into women's health, and what she has seen is if they are challenged enough and if they are if we are in touch with them on a continuous basis, they don't give up, they stay with us. So we are trying to incorporate that spirit in our work as well.
Yeah, motivation. Husband also to be motivated.
Right. Correct.
Any more questions? If not, we can conclude the session. So probably this is just the beginning, and we'll be in touch. I mean, Meghna will be in touch, and Shilpa will be in touch, and they'll update the progress. So it was a wonderful presentation, Meghna and Shilpa. Thank you for your valuable time. So I believe it was very valuable to each one of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you all the doctors for attending.
Thank you.
Your time is very precious.
Sir, just one more thing wanted to ask you. Hello. Yeah. Do we need to share if anybody is looking for the like the evidence copy? If they want, we can share the soft copy of the documents that we are having for the reference. Yeah.
Definitely, it will help.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just send you via email if you can circulate it on the, like that, or else on the drive I can upload and then we can share the link of the drive.
Sure, and even this presentation is recorded, so we can send out the recording to all the doctors. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.